What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
And for the first time ever, Gershwan is not wearing black.
Yeah, or gray.
Right.
It's kind of like a blue, maybe.
Maybe this is variant Gershwan. Gersh-dos.
Yeah, you guys press circle instead of X to select me.
And with that, we're back answering more questions from you guys in another installment of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first, to the best of our ability. This question comes from Troy Masters. Are pleasure planets more or less likely to fall to chaos? It seems like any pleasure planet I would want to retire on would already have a Slaaneshi cult or two. If you check out our 40 facts on pleasure planets, I do go a little overboard in saying how like a cult could exist on a pleasure planet, but at the same time, there's the Imperial Creed and the Ecclesiarchy, and there's still oppression, sadness, and like just destruction for the people who actually live there, not the people visiting.
Right.
So, no, not necessarily. Is it more likely to fall to chaos? Honestly, out of all the
Types of planets.
yeah, I feel like an agri world would be easiest to fall to chaos just because Nurgle is like, I mean, any simple little plague on corn or livestock, boom, the planet is screwed.
Corn, the vegetable, not the chaos god.
Right, yeah. Whereas with Slaanesh, I feel like there's more work that has to be done.
Mm-hmm. You gotta make sex cults and dungeons and all this stuff.
And you gotta match kinks, and sometimes, you know, it's hard to match kinks.
Right. You don't just come out and say, hey, this is my kink. You have to, like, build to it.
Yeah, and then you have to, like, form an alliance with other kinks, so there's, like, kink bands running around. Kind of like the fall of the Eldar.
Right, just like that. But social anxiety is a thing, so...
It is. How does that connect?
Because if you're anxious in a social circle, you're not going to be okay with like orgies and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Being in an orgy would be kind of gross. Especially if you're... a
germaphobe.
Yeah. Which, you know, some people in the Imperium might be.
Yeah.
Next question.
This one is by Pikachu Nut. What would happen to a man or woman working in a manufactorum if he fell into a furnace or forge and he came back out? Would it be because they are a perpetual?
If that happened, it could trigger like some type of cult around that individual, and it can go both ways. It can be like they're blessed by the Emperor when in reality they might be blessed by like chaos, because the Emperor usually doesn't do things like that. What the Emperor usually does, So the Imperial Creed could be, or the Ecclesiarchy could be like, oh, like he's a saint. He's a saint for the workers. Just like in Catholicism, like each saint has its own little like domain. And it could just be a chaos god. Whereas like the Emperor, the way that he empowers his saints is usually he takes a hero or somebody who's like really, what is it called when you're like,
Fregon?
Yeah, martially. Or in other words, Fregon. You're martially superior than all the other ones, and then boom, like that's how you get Saint Badap and Saint Celestine. Like they were heroes before they became saints, and then they became saints.
Yeah. And not every hero becomes a saint.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool story, or that would be a really cool like scenario to like put like a D&D group through. I've been thinking more and more about running a D&D session based in the 40K universe because it's way easier than like trying to come up with your own fantasy universe or playing within the Dungeons and Dragons universe, just because I don't read the lore to them that much. But it would be really cool to be like, okay, so you guys arrive on this planet, this man just fell from the gantries into the pool, and now he came out and people are worshiping as a god. That'd be kind of cool. And then you guys have to figure out that he's actually empowered by chaos, and yeah.
That'd be pretty interesting. That'd be my first throw out, though. Just to ruin it all.
Yeah. He's empowered by chaos. And then everybody turns around and says, chaos? What's that? What are you going to do now as the mobs are chasing you? Because that's the thing about the regular Imperial citizens. Most regular Imperial citizens know nothing about the outside world.
Right.
So you saying chaos is like, what? Except for that one person that does know, and then he goes, Inquisitor. and then boom, you get screwed.
Right. Or he's already chaos devotee, and he's like, hey, join my cult.
Yeah.
What's your kink?
Yeah, what's your kink? What is your kink? Comment down in the comment section below.
Paying for plastic crack.
Yeah.
Brian B asks, what are your opinions on if Abaddon didn't throw a Blackstone Fortress at Cadia? Would the Imperium have won?
We talked about this last week, no?
Right. Yeah, that was pretty much his Hail Mary. It's like, well, let's go ahead and speed things up.
I failed 13 times.
I won't be a 14.
Yeah. Sylvia Winter, do you think we're going to see Tau models from the casts other than Fire and Ethereal? I think so. Especially Blackstone Fortress. What is it? Black Phone? Yeah, so I think we'll get those eventually. They already exist within Forge World too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we just got to be patient.
Do you think we're going to get new models for like the Codex? Because you know how the Orcs got a bunch of stuff?
Dude, they got too much.
Yeah, I think they got just enough.
I don't know. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it's like not every Codex is getting a complete revamp with new models, new rules, and all this, like the Orcs are. But those that do seem to be getting a lot. Like the Sisters got a lot. The Admech, they didn't get a lot, but they got super powerful. Even with the new campaign book, Caradon, they got even more powerful.
Yeah.
So I think power creep is becoming a thing, more so this edition, like it did back in like 5th edition and stuff like that. So I think we'll see that trend that like as the editions come out, as new armies come out, they're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger until 10th edition comes out and kind of cleans up the slate.
Yeah, then we have to buy all new armies.
Yeah.
What's cool about the Tau coming out in the next, or for their Codex, every single main model, like infantry model, is getting a
bump in scale.
Yeah, except for the Tau. In the lore, the Tau are supposed to be small.
Mm-hmm. Bien chidos.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is sticking with the Tau. Oh shit, Dima 21. Could the Tau, with their extensive advancement in the sciences, create their own version of a space marine? I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think they would want to mess with like the genetic modification of a fire warrior, just because the ethereal cast probably like wants to keep that.
Right, whatever
Like
pheromone or psychic control, they don't want to mess with it to have like a free thinking Tau or
Yeah.
a farsight Tau.
Right. Yeah. That's no bueno.
Mm-mm.
This question comes from Erok9. How long do you see yourselves doing these videos? Will I and my great-grandchildren be watching you guys answer 80k lore questions with the two of you entombed in dreadnoughts? And if so, what pattern? Keep up the excellent work.
Hopefully I could find a Contemptor Dreadnought.
Yeah, same. It just seems more human-like.
Mm-hmm. Instead of being in a box with legs.
Yeah. It seems like a waste, too, for us just to be sitting here in Contemptor Dreadnoughts just talking about 40k lore.
But that's what they do. Sometimes the Space Wolves are like, all right, Bjorn, wake up and let's tell campfire stories.
That's true, yeah. But then that means that we eventually would have to go to war.
That's true.
That sounds like too much work. I just want to paint my minis. But yeah, I think we're going to do this forever until like something really, really bad happens.
And then that's when we get put in a dreadnought.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by Devin Hooper. Hey, this is an ongoing thought I've had as a big fan of the Tyranids. Do you think any more variants of Synapse creatures, such as the Doom of Malentine, will be added in the future of the lore or tabletop? Definitely. Oftentimes you see a progression of like characters not get included into a codex and then come back. WAAAGH was in the codex, he wasn't anymore. Maybe in the future he'll come back. But yeah, I definitely see that happening for the Tyranids, especially since they kind of teased the whole Warzone Octarius. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
I always want to say Octavius.
I think it used to be Octavius.
But that's a dude's name.
It is.
So they
Octavius.
changed it to Octarius.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the coming weeks we get to see some new Tyranid stuff, and I do think like the Doom will make a return, and they got to bring out new stuff for the Tyranids. Like every time I think of 40k, the Tyranids are the last thing on my mind.
You know what though? I think that they fucked up by making the Tyranids such a big bad alien race. Because if you think about it, like when they were painting the picture of the Tyranids invading the galaxy, like it's done, it's over. Like you see it in the Battlefleet Gothic trailer, where it's like the Milky Way galaxy, and then the tendrils of like the Tyranids are just wrapping around it. There's no way humanity or the Eldar or even Chaos can defend from that. And I think GW realized like, oh damn, we fucked up.
Quick, distract him with the Zolt.
Yeah. So now I think they're probably trying to figure out how they can scale back the threat. Yeah, we'll see what they do.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like a big like unification of like what a lot of theories say. Like, oh, the Eldar, the Tau, and the Imperium are all going to join forces and push back the Tyranids. Yeah, but what about the Necrons, Chaos? Like, they're also fighting. The Dark Eldar are also fighting. They're not just going to sit back and let them do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the prime time to strike, and that leaves the Golden Throne open, and yeah.
Next question.
It's not a question, but it's interesting what you say. Charlie Edwards. Keep talking Spanish and translate what you say for us, please. It's strangely fascinating.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that there's a lot of our watchers come from the UK and Australia. And you guys probably don't hear Spanish all that much. But where we're from, like, you can't get, like, Spanish is very, very common. Like, you go anywhere, it's like, it gives you the English and then the Spanish translation. Because obviously we're connected to Mexico, and all Latin America, except for Brazil, speaks Spanish.
They do Portuguese, no?
They do.
Vosotros.
Is that Portuguese?
I don't know. It might just be Spanish.
Sounds Italian.
Yeah.
Like, what's the new Disney?
Oh, Luca.
Yeah, that's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
I watched it twice.
Dang.
I know.
And you only saw the Kill Team trailer once?
Yeah. I'm probably going to get the Kill Team box just because of the terrain. If you guys haven't checked it out, the terrain for that Kill Team box is massive.
It is, yeah. I was surprised at what they were actually including in it.
And then the Flamer, the Burna Boys look really awesome. And so do Death Corps of Krieg. How could you not get Death Corps of Krieg?
Right, everybody loves them.
Which that alludes to plastic Death Corps of Krieg models for GW, which means like no more Forge World and having to spend like $500 on an army. Now you can just buy it off of GW.
Right.
That should be bigger news, I guess.
Yeah, it kind of sucks for Forge World, where it's like, oh, because now you had to go to Forge World, and it's like, nope, we're taking this away from you.
That's what they get for making the prices so high.
That's true.
Nobody wants to spend $1,000 on a Squigot. You crazy?
You got, what was that thing called? Squig pigs? Or
oh, yeah.
Squig? I don't know what they're called. But they're like rhino squigs.
Yeah.
The bigger ones, at least. But they're still smaller than a Squigot.
And it's going to be exciting now, seeing the dynamic of that army play, because it seems like it's a mixture of speed freaks and just straight up goths.
It is, yeah. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's when I play armies, I want to have them like kind of themed, and to have like the beast Snaggas and have like a bunch of speed freaks, and then you have a whole like mechanized army plus a horde of green. Like, I feel like that's too many eggs in one basket, and it kind of takes away from the overall direction of the army. But I don't know, it might still be good.
I think GW did that for the same reason that they brought out Primaris Marines. Like, they knew that the majority of Space Marine players already had their chapters pretty built. Like, I don't feel like GW has fresh blood or new blood as much as they want to, which is why they're trying to like draw people in. So another way to make the old heads buy more minis is to just create a whole new faction within their already existing faction. Yeah. And I think that's what these guys are. So I agree that, like, I wouldn't want to play my Bad Moons next to these new Beast Snaggas. What are they called?
Yeah, Beast Snaggas.
The clan thing?
Because I don't think they're, what are they called?
Snake bites?
Yeah, snake bites.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's cool, and we'll see what happens. But they're sneaky for doing that. Next question comes from 2712 Anime Freak. What happens if you chuck a blank into the warp? Nothing. It's just like a small little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, these demons would easily tear it apart.
Right. Actually, a bubble is pretty good because I mean it is just a pocket of itself around chaos. The big one asks, why do you guys love Bridget B so much? Ava Adams, Sarah J, and Angela White are way better.
That's your personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. I noticed they're all kind of on the older side. Sarah J, really?
Bridget
Really?
B is also kind of old, though.
Yeah, she is, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I like her performance more so than the actual, like, look of her. Because, yeah, she does look, you know... Sorry, there's a fruit fly.
Oh.
She does look kind of like not natural. Like if you saw her at a place, you wouldn't be like, that just looks like a woman, like a normal woman, I guess. She's like, oh, she must be something. If that makes sense.
We'll go with it. I guess we'll bring up newer stars, I guess, to put them.
Yeah, but then that means I have to go look for newer
Right.
stars. Next question comes from Angel Amaro. If you could take any ranged weapon from the universe, from any universe, what would it be and why?
A weapon from any universe or
Any
the 40K universe?
He said any universe.
I've always liked lightsabers.
Yeah.
Because it's like you've got a sword that can cut through pretty much anything, but it's not always like sheathed, so it's easier to hide and to like conceal and be like stealthy with it.
That's true. I kind of like that too, just and the badass nature of it, where it's just like a little phone and then you go sound effects and everything.
Yeah, the sound effects is what sold it.
I think if I had that, I would always do that. I would always go even with the lightsaber turning on.
Mm-hmm. It's like if you have a pen, you always have to click it.
Yeah, go click.
And it'd be like, oh, there goes my leg.
Now, if it was a 40K thing, what would it be?
Probably based on like stealth and like what it can actually do. The rings that the Jakara weaponsmiths do, like the digital weapons.
Yeah. That was actually, I had a similar answer just because, well, I mean, I had the same answer because it is just like Green Lantern's ring. Even though like Green Lantern's ring, I think, has more functionality to it.
Oh yeah, the more creative you are, the more you can do with it.
Whereas this ring is just like a flamer,
Yeah,
or a shotgun, and now I'm in jail.
but I can get out unless you take it.
Yeah.
But who's gonna take this ring when I got a shotgun?
And then last question, what do you got?
This one is by Eric Matos Villegas. Would the return of the Emperor as a man be enough to make an Imperium worth living?
Wait, say that again?
Would the return of the Emperor coming back as a man be enough to make the Imperium worth living?
You're right. Like, we need a woman in power. So the Emperor coming back as a woman would be better. Yeah, I think so. I think it would be worth living in the Imperium because nothing too major would change. I feel it would be like another Gilliman.
Yeah, because he goes on to kind of explain it, and basically he's saying that the Imperium throws every resource to just hold the line, but the Emperor would make things better. But would it be enough for people like us to actually want to live in there? I mean, they don't really have a choice, though.
That's true.
If you're in the Imperium, you can't really just say, oh, I'm going to get on this shuttle and go over here. Like, it's really expensive. You got to pay tithes and whatnot, and sometimes that's not even a thing.
That's true, yeah. And I think also, like, so if he would pop up, he would be in the Sol system, and then it would take a while for the rest of the like worlds to pop up and be like, oh yeah, like that's him. Right. I think it would be interesting though. The story would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think people would like it because they want to have the Emperor be as badass as he was back during like the Reunification Wars and the Great Crusade and all this.
It would be hilarious if he like comes back and he's like, I'm going into the Eye of Terror. See you guys.
It's like, dude, it's like you didn't really come back then.
Unless, I mean, that would be really smart for GW to sell an Emperor model, though. Because, like, he pops up, and it's like, boom, now you have an Emperor model that you can play on his way to the Eye of Terror. So, like, somewhere during his journey into the Eye, or into the Maelstrom, whatever it may be.
It's funny. You roll a die, like, in the beginning of the game, and that's the turn that he leaves.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, turn one, he dips. He just lost 500 points.
Yeah. He went to go get cigarettes and never came back.
Yep.
Just like all fathers.
That's true.
And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening to our rants.
As always, this has been The Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.